Alright, so first up we have Orisa, 10% more damage reduction to Fortify. All around a pretty solid buff. However, the problem here is that I think hit scan is going to be a very big problem, which means high ground is going to be a very big problem, which means Orisa is not that good. I mean, Fortify is pretty good at making her an anchor tank on defense, especially if you're trying to protect very small spaces. However, in the grand scheme of things on most maps, especially sniper maps, I think characters, as we'll see later on, such as Soldier 76 and Sojourn, they're going to be a menace in this patch. Which means I don't think Orisa, in the grand scheme of things, is going to be that great. I think she's a bit weaker this meta, and while I do think she has a place, I think that place is going back to spawn and changing to a different hero. Next up, Ramatra. They made a very small, tiny little change to where your E can be thrown through enemy heroes. It still gets blocked by barriers, which is nothing new. However, being able to throw it past an enemy and cut them off is kind of good. So if you get to an enemy tank like Reinhardt and they don't have their shield up, you can throw your E past them and they need to get out. You can just kind of cut them off, slow them down a bit and do more damage to them and maybe even punish and get the kill. So it's pretty good. It's nothing that makes Ramatra game breaking and super meta because I think he has the exact same issue that Orisa does. However, he does have a little bit more with the barrier and the poke damage. So yeah, I think this is a pretty good change. Ramatra, pretty good this patch. Next up, we have Reinhardt, who got 200 more health to his right-click shield. Yeah, that's good. I mean, Reinhardt has never been bad. In Overwatch 2, he's been consistently really good. It just depends on what map you're playing on, right? If you're a King of the Hill or maybe a King's Row, close quarter maps, Reinhardt excels at. He's probably the best pick, especially if you have a very good skill and understanding on Rein. You can just tank diff the fuck out of the enemy. So yeah, this is great. I think all around Reinhardt still excelling on maps that he's good at. Probably still mid-tier on other maps where maybe the hit scan will be on the high ground and you're not really able to reach them. But all around, I think Reinhardt is still really good. I mean, he's never been bad. Just a great hero all around, A tier easily. Next is Wrecking Ball. I hate this little rat so much. He got a buff, but it's a buff that isn't that impactful. Gives him a little bit of a quicker reload time by 0.4 seconds. And this is just a manual reload, so sure, I guess he can have that. I don't think Wrecking Ball players are even going to use this feature all that often, but when they do, it means they'll be doing more damage. So yeah, I mean, okay, I guess. The reload is still not any different if you're in the ball form, so that's good. Personally, I don't like to see Wrecking Ball to be too good and too meta, because that is one of the worst things that could happen to this game. When annoying heroes are meta, then the game is annoying. So I'm pretty glad that this buff is at least just a tiny bit. It's not anything game breaking. He's just going to have a little bit of a better time, and in the grand scheme of things, I don't think you'll be affected by it too much. So yeah, this is alright. Wrecking Ball is still alright, but I'm still going to hard counter and pick Sombra against him pretty much every time because I hate seeing Wrecking Balls have fun. Moving on to DPS, we have Sojourn, who is a hero who was very, very oppressive and overpowered for a very long time, and now we're buffing her? Why? I think this is one of the worst things that they could have done this patch. All around, the other stuff has been pretty good so far, but this is frustrating. I mean, they're making Sojourn way, way more consistent and better. She'll be having more energy, more right clicks, which still one-shot people, by the way, and they just had a patch where they nerfed one-shots from Widowmaker and Hanzo, so we're now buffing Sojourn, who can now just have her right click more often and one-shot people with it? Why? I mean, I don't know what they're trying to do here. So yeah, the left click has way less spread, so you're 12% more accurate, and the shots aren't going to have that spread for like 4 more bullets, so yeah, it's just a buff. It's just a straight up buff. The left click is way better, way more accurate, which means way more right clicks. We're probably going to be stuck in a Mercy damage boost meta again, and to be honest, that never really went away, at least not on ladder. Overwatch League is a completely different beast, so we're not going to talk about that. I mean, unless you're an Overwatch League player, which, let's be honest, I don't think any of us here are. But Sojourn is going to be really, really insane, and I think Mercy damage boost is going to be back on the menu. So, thanks, I guess. I don't know why we're doing this, but yeah, this is going to suck. Thanks, Blizzard. Next up, we have Soldier 76. This is a all-around buff to the hero that I don't mind. I think the hero isn't really that good if you're stacking. I think it's a hero that is basically solo and independent. You kind of pick this hero when you're not really surviving and you don't have a whole lot of support or peels. You can run away from danger, you can still put out damage, you can heal yourself. I mean, the hero's pretty great, and that's what I love about Soldier. It is a solo queue ladder hero. That's why we're picking him, and we buffed him. And I think that's fair. I mean, Cassidy is just a way better option anyways, as well as characters like Ashe. And now we see Sojourn, who's probably going to be even more meta. But either way, you get 1 more damage on the bullet of your left click, which also means your ultimate will do more damage. Your right click has 10 more damage on explosion. Pretty good, especially since your right click melee combo basically one-shots tracers. So this just makes him a little bit better in any 1v1s, especially at melee range. And then your healing per second is increased by 5. In general, it's great. I mean, I like this change. I don't think he's going to be overpowered at all even from this, because we do see heroes like D.Va with no nerfs this patch, and I think D.Va is one of the better tanks right now, especially on ladder. As long as D.Va is around, I don't think Soldier's going to have a good time, but if D.Va isn't picked, then yeah, you're going to have a great time as Soldier, and you don't even need a Mercy Pocket to do some damage. So this is fine. I'm okay with this, and Soldier, really good pick right now. Next up, you either hate him or love him. We have Symmetra and Torbjorn. Personally, I think there's a lot of good changes here. Basically, they're trying to nerf builders and turrets in general, and this is all good stuff. I like it. However, I'm not on board with one of these changes, but there's a lot here, so let's break it down. First up, the turrets. So you get the DPS reduced from 40 to 25. This is amazing because let's be honest, turrets are super annoying and they're basically cutting it in half. Not quite all the way, but almost, right? It's still a really good ability. It's going to slow people. It's going to melt people. It's going to be super annoying on King of the Hill. And now they're going to give it kind of a weird little feature where the turrets will reveal enemy heroes to allies when they deal damage, and then you get like 1 lingering second of it as well. This means you can kind of play Symmetra in a different way where you're trying to kind of catch out any gankers or flankers who might be trying to sneak around to get to the supports in the backline. So that's kind of nice because let's be honest, not everybody's in team chat, a lot of people aren't listening to comms, and now this just makes it so they see them. So hopefully they can see him coming before they die to him at least. So this is pretty good. And then we have the more crazy change here that I want to talk about. I mean, first you have 5 more damage on the impact and explosion with your right click. Okay, whatever, that's fine. 5 more damage. I don't think that's going to make any really big difference. Hitting people with your right click was really just seen as a ult generation thing. I doubt you were getting many kills with it anyways. The weird thing is this. You now regenerate up to 30 shield health per second when you left click someone and it does damage to barriers or enemies with shield health. So this means by just frying a shield character such as Zarya or Sigma, yeah, you kind of just gain health 30 per second. That's pretty good. It's honestly really insane. It's a bit situational because it depends on who you're left clicking, but all around you're probably going to be left clicking a barrier at one point in a game, but regardless, it just means that you have more survivability. It might seem a bit situational, but I think it's going to be pretty devastating on ladder, especially on King of the Hill. I think Symmetra has always been a super annoying character, but I mean, at least they got rid of the turret damage, so maybe she'll be less annoying and it'll rely a little bit more on the left click aim. I don't know. I just think that other heroes might just be a good counter to Symmetra still, but we'll have to see. And then, of course, we have Torbjorn, where we see a little bit of the same here, where they nerf the turret quite a bit. 3 less damage on the turret, the cooldown got worse by 2 seconds, and the buffs to compensate for it weren't quite as good. So you see the spread reduced by 0.5, but only on the right click, which is whatever. If you were right clicking somebody, they're already in your face, so I don't think the spread matters that much. And then the big change really is when you use your E, you now get 6 extra shots. That's pretty good. It's not bad, but it's just not anywhere near that same level as Busted as regenerating shield health per second, right? So I feel like Torbjorn got way worse right now. At best, he was just kind of having that turret down to just provide crossfire for his team, especially for the supports, and protect them from flankers such as Tracer and Genji, help apply some pressure to them, and that was it. All around, I kind of like these nerfs for both of these heroes. I'm just not a huge fan of the health per second regeneration on Symmetra, but, you know, we'll see how that goes. Probably gonna be stupid as fuck, though. Next up, we have Kiriko. So I kind of hate this. They say here specifically, we increased the recovery time of your heals to promote more kunai usage. Why? Why are we doing this? Do we really want healers to DPS more? Seems like a bad idea, personally. But, you know, whatever, Blizzard. You know best, I guess, right? They don't know. They don't know what they're doing at all. I think this is a terrible change, but Copium is like, you know, oh, it's only 0.1 seconds, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. But all around, this makes Kiriko way worse, and if you get a support on Kiriko, they're probably going to be throwing out more kunai, which is not a good thing. So I'm not a fan of this. I think if I'm playing support, I'm going to try to insta-lock this hero so other people can't throw on her. Anyways, at least it's only 0.1 seconds. Not the biggest nerf. Kiriko's still an amazing hero. Next up, we see Zenyatta get nerfed. I mean, it's a nerf, but it's really not a nerf. I mean, it's kind of just annoying. It's just making Zenyatta much more annoying to play. They say it's riskier, but that's not what I would call it. I don't really call this risky. I just call this annoying. It's going to be way more annoying to apply Discord Orb as Zenyatta. Sure, if that's what you guys want to do with Zenyatta, go for it. Make the hero more annoying and less fun to play. If that's going to make Flat stop crying, then I guess go for it, right? So yeah, they made the range reduced by 10 meters. Kind of annoying, but not really that big of a deal. You can still work around it. And then they made the time to wear off the target when not an LOS reduced from 2 to 1.5 seconds. In other words, half a second. Not that big of a deal. Doesn't really change Zenyatta in the grand scheme of things. It just makes playing Zenyatta less fun. So thanks for that, I guess. Yeah. Anyways, I think all around this patch was pretty good, but I am really disappointed in 2 things. No change to Lifeweaver and no change to Roadhog. Both heroes are at a devastating all-time low. I think both heroes are essentially throw picks. They're just terrible. If I get any of those heroes in my game, I just know I'm gonna lose. There's nothing you can do about it. And trust me, I've tried playing these heroes myself. I mean, they suck. They're not good. Any other hero in the tank or support section is way better. So yeah, hopefully we get to see Lifeweaver buff soon, and maybe Roadhog's rework will be so insane it'll blow us all away. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. As always, I'll see you next time. Peace.